In the Advent garden, dark the night below. Earth is waiting, waiting, waiting for the stars to glow. In the Advent garden, dark the night below. Earth is waiting, waiting, waiting for the stars to glow.
Holy, 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 we are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are home. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are home. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are home. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are home. We are home. We are home. We are home.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 11 a.m. celebration of Spirit here at Unity of Louisville on this Sunday, the 9th of December in the year 2018. My name is Chuck Fulner. I currently serve as president of the Board of Trustees, and it is my honor to welcome all of you here to this celebration and those of you who are watching through the miracle of the internet. Many people help us put this service together. I'd like to acknowledge a few of them. James, as always, is on PowerPoint. Sonny is handling the soundboard, and he and Reverend Ray, our senior minister, have been taking care of the live streaming process. Look at all these wonderful musicians that we have. Judy is playing the piano. Deb and John Spencer and Phil will be doing the special music. You're in for a treat today. In the pantheon of all Unity musical performances, the best that I have ever heard and the best that you will ever hear is Deb doing The Universe is Calling. And she's doing it today after the talk. So no pressure, Deb.
Okay. Thank you. No.
That's right.
Okay.
Nada.
Let's open in prayer. As we gather here together with our family and friends, and with those who are watching on the live streaming through the miracle of the internet, let us set an intention to be present in each moment as we pray together, as we meditate together, and as we sing together. And let's affirm that we will listen with an open heart as Gerry does our talk today about the Advent theme of love. Secure in the knowledge that everyone everywhere is in eachness and the allness of God, and that the universe is calling us to be the very best that we can be, let's give thanks. Join me, please, in saying, thank you, God. Thank you, God. One more time, thank you, God.
Thank you, God.
And a third time, with enthusiasm, zeal,
you,
and
God.
intestinal fortitude, thank you, God.
Thank you,
Thank you,
God.
God.
Very good. So what are we singing next?
Love Came Down at Christmas. Please
Okay,
stand and
if
join
you
us.
would, please rise if you can and are able and join in singing Love Came Down at Christmas. Hit it, boys.
Love came down at Christmas. Love, oh lovely, love divine. Love was born at Christmas. Star and angels gave the sign. Love shall be our token. Love be yours and love be mine. Love to God and love to all. Love's the joy, the gift and sign. Love came down at Christmas. Love, oh lovely, love divine. Love was born at Christmas. Star and angels gave the sign.
Please be seated. Unity of Louisville is a loving, kind, and compassionate community. We like to recognize the Christ spirit in each and every one that we greet. One of the things we do on Sundays is say hello to the first-time visitors. So if you've taken time out of your Sunday morning to visit with us for the very first time, if you would please raise your right hand as I am raising mine, so our our ushers who are hustling by can bring you a packet of information about Unity in general and Unity of Louisville in particular. Okay. So this morning it doesn't look like we have any first-time visitors, so I'm sorry. Okay, we do have one, if you would. What Gerry is giving you is a packet of information, and there's a piece of paper on that. If you would fill that out and turn that into the welcome desk downstairs, we have another gift from you. And he also gave you a candle, which basically says, as you light the candle, recognize that the Christ Spirit lives inside of you. My favorite time every week, and it's also true for a lot of other people, including those who are going to be going to a basketball game this afternoon, is this next section, where we reach out and greet each other. Now, we are a hugging community. Many of us have the belief that a hug is the closest thing between two hearts, but not everyone lives that way. So if someone puts out their hand to shake or their fist to bump, please reciprocate. Otherwise, hug the hell out of them. Let's greet each other.
Love came down at Christmas. Love, oh lovely, love divine. Love was born at Christmas. Star
It is our practice to affirm one of the 12 powers, and as soon as James puts it up there on the PowerPoint, we'll do that for today. Today's affirmation is love. If you would read it off with me, I am divine love in expression. Thank you. You ready? Okay.
O Heavenly Spirit, who in love abideth, we worship Thee, we praise Thy holy name. Teach us Thy children evermore to love Thee. Thy will be done in earth as heaven today. Teach us Thy children evermore to love Thee. Thy will be done in earth as heaven today. Oh, give us grace to meet the coming morrow. Forgive our debts as others we forgive. Thou leavest not Thy children in temptation, and from all error Thou deliverest us. Thine is the kingdom, Thine the power and glory, world without end, forevermore. Amen.
And so it is. Amen. The word for today is love. And the affirmation is, I am divine love in expression. I am a creative spiritual being, and the substance with which I create is divine love. This includes the loving feeling I may experience as my day unfolds. These are important elements, but divine love exists deeper than feelings at the very core of my being. The Trappist monk and author Thomas Merton described love as an intensification of life. And if you've ever been in love, you know that's true. My life today is deepened and strengthened by the creative intensity I bring to every choice. It is only by allowing the substance of love to shape my day that I can intensify my life experience and be a blessing to others and to myself. I am divine love in expression, and my heart is open to every opportunity the day will bring to share that love with others. And the reading today is from Colossians chapter 3. Above all, clothe yourselves with love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony. I am divine love in expression.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight. Glory stream from heaven afar. Heavenly hosts sing hallelujah. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born. Silent night, holy night, child of God, love's pure light, radiant beams from thy holy face. With the dawn of redeeming grace, Jesus, Lord, at thy birth, Jesus, Lord, at thy birth.
Radiance and love. Jesus brought light into the world, a message of love for one another. Can you feel it? You are the light of the world. You are the love of the world. You are the world. And as our love grows in our heart, imagine the love passing from your heart to my heart, to the next heart, to hearts all over the world. Hearts that need something, hearts that have something to give, for we all are connected by love. Love and radiance. May the love I have in my heart pass from your hand to mine. And if you would, let those be your words. May the love I have in my hand pass from your heart to mine. And we rest in that love, child of light. Child of light, you are the light of the world. Child of light, I bless you. Child of light, I see you strong and whole. I see you blessed and being prospered and prospering others. I see you capable and successful. Wherever you go, God is. And that, my friend, all is well.
This is a beautiful song about universal love, and it was Ray's idea and request that we do this today, and it's a good request.
The words I have to say may well be simple, but they're true. Until you give your love, there's nothing more that we can do. Love is the opening door. Love is what we came here for. No one could offer you more. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? You say it's very hard to leave behind the life we knew. But there's no other way, and now it's really up to you. Love is the key we must turn. Truth is the flame we must burn. Freedom, the lesson we must learn. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Love is the opening door. Love is what we came here for. No one could offer you more. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen?
Thanks, guys. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be free of suffering. And may all beings remember who they are. Morning. As I was looking over the schedule, I saw what Ray was asking me to do, and I was thinking to myself, not another love talk. I've been doing this for 6 months. And I was kind of reminded of the traditional story in Christian story about St. John the Apostle, who was the last one living. He was an old man. And people would come around for miles and miles and miles to listen to what he had to say, because he was pretty much the last person on earth who had ever been in the company of Jesus. And the story goes that they would, crowd would gather, and they would kind of wheel him out onto the balcony, if they had wheelchairs back then, or whatever the Aramaic equivalent was of that. They would wheel him out, and everybody would be waiting. What's going to be the message today? And inevitably, he would look out at the crowd, and he would say, "Little children, love one another." And then there would be this murmuring of, is that all there is? Isn't he going to tell us some more? Where's the drama? Where's the story? What about this? What about that? Little children, love one another. What have we forgotten? Why does it take so long, and why does it seem so difficult to just be grounded in that one little truth, or that one huge truth? I need to read another book. I need to go to another workshop. I need to do this. I need to do that. Little children, love one another. It was said of the early Christians, the way you could tell one from the other people, the people who were not Christians, let's say, it wasn't because they had a fish tattooed on their forehead, or they had different clothes on than everybody else, or that they looked different or talked different. It was just one simple line, one simple phrase. See how they love one another. Even the outsiders recognize that. There's something different here. It's not based on fear. It's not based on what you should do. It's not based on punishment. It's based on something that is beyond what words can tell us. And so in a way I feel rather foolish trying to put this in words, and yet that's part of my purpose here this morning. Love is all you need. We came here for love, to do love, to be love. Really. Well, I came here to have breakfast. I came here to see my friends. I came here to sing a song. I came here because I come here every Sunday, and it would be kind of weird if I didn't come here Sunday morning. Did I come here to love or to be loved? Is love what I came here for? See how easily it is that you and I certainly include myself in this equation, can get on automatic pilot where we're just kind of, I'm wandering through life. It's kind of like I can get to the end of a day. Sometimes I can get to the end of a week and say, where was I? I did all of the things I was supposed to be doing, but I wasn't conscious about any of them. And see, that's the only way I can, we talk about being a unique expression of divine love, because that's who you are, and I certainly believe that with all my heart. But the only way you can really be that divine expression or that unique expression of divine love is when you are aware of who you are. If you're not aware of who you are still an expression of divine love, but not really expressing it because I'm so locked into my own self-centered agenda. And again, I don't mean that in a judgmental way. It's just I become thoughtless. I become wrapped up in my own stuff, and I begin to define myself in terms of my own stuff. And because of that, I don't have room for you. And I don't even realize that's what I'm doing. It's not until something comes along, and for me anyway, sort of smacks me upside the head and wakes me up, and I say, oh, I could have had a V8. I could be loving about this. I could have seen that other person as being Christ incarnate. I could have seen myself that way. When was the last time you saw yourself as a divine being? When you looked in the mirror this morning, was it more about combing your hair, putting your makeup on, or combing my goat? By the way, having a goatee is not a prerequisite for being a Unity minister, but it seems to help, right? When was the last time? Now again, we can pay this idea lip service. Oh, I know I'm a divine being. I know I am a unique expression of God's love. We can pay it, but really knowing that in your guts. When was the last time you experienced that? And I'm not talking about experiencing it in an emotional way. Robin and I were just talking about this before the service, all right? Even though love is an emotion, is a feeling, this is not what we're talking about. Because how many, suppose I only love when I feel like loving. What's that going to be like? Suppose I only give love when I feel like giving love. What would it be like if the only time I go to work is when I feel like going to work? I'm not going to have a job very long. Right? Suppose I only love when I feel like loving. Well, there's not going to be a whole lot going on for you and for me, or my interaction with you, or your interaction with me. There have been, I go back periodically to, I love Merton's idea that love is really kind of an intensity of life. The way Scott Peck put it, and I keep going back to this one periodically because it wakes me up every once in a while, he said, love is the ability to stretch oneself for one's own spiritual growth or the growth of another. When was the last time you were stretched? And when was the last time you ran away from being stretched? When was the last time you were aware? When was the last time you were aware of being stretched? In other words, when was the last time you were called upon being loving even when you didn't feel like loving? I mean, that can even happen to me with my grandkids. There are some times when I don't feel like loving them. Maybe I'm stuck in my own stuff, or maybe my perception is they're being stubborn, or they're being obnoxious, or they're being this, or being that, and I don't feel like loving you right now because you're not fitting into the framework that I've created for you in my own mind. But I can still choose to love you even though I don't feel like doing it. Oh. My love and your love as a divine being, as a being of grace, goes beyond how you and I feel, either about yourself or about somebody else. Being a unique expression of divine love is beyond a feeling state. Now, when the feelings go along with that, it's wonderful. I don't have any objection to that. I love it. But that's not what we're being called to do, necessarily. We are called to go beyond that personality, feeling, emotional self that we've created for ourselves and saying, you are more than that. You are more than that. When are you going to, because the only way I can recognize you as being more than that is when I recognize me as being more than that. You are a unique expression of divine love. Now, I can probably see that in you much better than I can see that in me. So the reflection is how I see that within myself limits how much I can see it in. Remember in the 60s we talked about, well, if you can't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. Did you ever hear that one? I got stuck on that one because I was so entrapped in this idea or this sense of predictability that I was involved, that I really perceived myself as not loving myself very much, and that was probably true. But in some ways, I translated that in my mind. That means I can't love you. The reality of it is that my love, and it's not my love for myself. That's kind of my personality looking in a mirror and saying, aren't you wonderful? How great thou art. All right? It isn't that kind of love at all. It's me recognizing the divine truth of who I am. That not only do I give love, I am love. When was the last time you remembered that one? I'm a body, I'm a mind, I'm emotions, I'm a spirit, I'm this, I'm a unique expression of divine love. But you are love. You're not just a unique expression of divine love. That's what you are. That is the truth of what you are. So I used to get into this whole shtick about, well, I don't love myself very much, so how can I possibly love you very much? And then I kind of got wrapped up in that quagmire and just kept kind of like the tidy bowl man, just kept kind of spinning down into, the bottom of the cesspool. Some of you are old enough to recognize that one. Some of you not, and that's perfectly all. You can get the image anyway. What I began to discover was that my ability, not just to love myself, but the ability to be love, was sort of a filter through which I saw you as being love. So the brighter I could recognize my own light, the brighter I could begin to recognize yours. It wasn't a matter of black and white, this and that. It was more a matter of degree. That the more and see, here's another interesting thing that happens to me. The more I am willing to accept myself as divine truth, as a unique expression of divine love, as being divine love, the more I am willing to do that, the more I can see that within you. My willingness is kind of like the faucet that regulates how much I am able to see you in your divine truth. And so if I use my own feelings, if I use my emotions as being a way of being able to calculate how loving I am, then my love for you is just going to be so limited all of the time. It's not just that I can only give you when I feel like giving. I'm looking at you as I can only receive your love when I feel like receiving it. How many times have you and I, somehow or another, even in an unconscious way, been pulled out of the darkness by someone else's love and someone else's prayers? Someone you might not have even known. If you've ever been in a state of depression, of really feeling down or overwhelmed, and you're kind of just slugging it through, just doing the best you possibly can with the limited gifts you think you have, and then either all of a sudden or gradually sort of the fog lifts, and you begin to say, oh, I am a divine child of God. I knew that before, even though I wasn't feeling it, but I was disconnected from that truth. Somehow or another, I couldn't connect with that one. And now I begin to connect with that again. Oh, where did that come from? And then I begin to think of all of the many times in my life that I have been kind of lost in those sort of quagmires of self-defeat, of even despair. And somehow or another, some being that I might not have even known on the material plane and planet Earth was praying for me. They held the light for me until I could begin to see it for myself. Wow. Somebody saw me as a unique expression of the divine. Someone saw me as being love, even though I couldn't see it for myself. And they did that as long as they needed to do until I was able to see it for myself. And by the way, that's happening to all of us all the time. All the time. I know I've probably shared this story at some other times, but it seems to be fitting at this moment. I was going through a really dark, depressive time a number of years ago. It lasted a number of years. And it was, I went to see a couple of therapists, and they said, you know, we could probably give you some medication for this, but it's coming more from your soul than it is coming from your emotions. So we're just going to have to find some ways of being able to deal with this. Some ways for you to be able to get through the darkness. And I said, okay. I remember waking up one night, and Margot had her hand on my back. And she was saying quietly, I love you, I love you, I love you. I'd like to tell you that everything changed at that moment. It didn't. Everything did change, but nothing changed. I was the same person, the same depressed person, the same down person, the same person struggling with the dark night of the soul who woke up the next morning. And yet I was a very, very different person as well, because I realized one thing that saved my life and continues to save my life. That as dark as it was in that particular place, that there was a part of me that I had not recognized that was still somehow or another putting one foot in front of the other. This piece of me, this part of me that was seeing clients who were hurting during the day, that was praying at night, that was holding my cat or holding my grandchild in love. When I didn't feel like I had anything to give, there was somehow something there that was beyond my human understanding. And so here we are. This is not about what you know. It's not even about what you experience. It's about you knowing the truth of who you are in this moment. Because there is absolutely nothing else. You are not just a reflection of God's divine love. You are not just a wonderful created being. You are not this, you are not that. You're not your personality, you're not your mind, you're not your body, you're not your emotions. You're not even a reflection of made in the image and likeness of God. You are love. There is no other truth but that one. Now you're going to forget it just like I'm going to forget it maybe 30 minutes from now and maybe 30 seconds from now. But I will guarantee you this. If you have come here to be loved, if you have come here to be love, then your soul, your spiritual being, the essence of who you are, will not forget that. You might misplace it for a while. You might get caught up in something that reminds you or makes you think you are something other than divine love or something other than the truth of who you are. But there is always going to be a part of you that is going to be continually anchored in that truth, that is never going to forget. And so whenever my prayer for myself this morning is, whenever I fall into forgetfulness, and whenever I remember that I've fallen into forgetfulness, because sometimes I'm not even aware that I've fallen into forgetfulness. That ever happened to you? Oh, I forgot. And I didn't remember I forgot. It just took a while for me to wake up. So once I remember that I've fallen into forgetfulness about who I am and who you are, that when I remember again, the first thing I will do is drop my judgment. And the second thing I will do is, what does my divine self have to tell me in this moment? What does it have to remind me of in this moment? What is the truth that I might have missed the last day or week or month? And listen to that. Not only is the universe calling, the love within you, the love that you are, is always speaking to you. It's just that I've forgotten sometimes to give myself the opportunity to listen. To listen to the beating of your heart. To listen to a flower unfolding. To listen to a snowflake hitting the ground. To listen to the silence of your love for another being. to listen to the stillness, to be aware that there is no other truth, that not only the love of God exists within you, not only do you experience the love of other people towards you, but that you are that love. You are what you have always been looking for. You are what your heart has been seeking all of these years, all of these days, all of that time. You are all of that and more than words can possibly express. Thank you, God, Father, Mother, for reminding me of the truth of who I am. Help me hold that truth in light, grace. And if by chance I forget it, which I probably will, let me be gently reminded in a way that my soul will recognize the truth of who I am, the truth of you, who you are, and the truth of who we are together. God bless. Wonderful. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
The universe is calling, calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be.
Calling to me.
The universe is calling, calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be.
Calling me.
The universe is calling me to be more than I've ever been. The universe is calling me to be. The universe is calling me to see more than I've ever seen. The universe is calling me to see.
Right now,
The universe is calling, calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be.
calling to me.
The universe is calling, calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be.
Calling me.
The universe is calling me to love beyond my boundaries. The universe is calling me to be. It's calling me to listen more, talk less, and hold the light. The universe is calling me to be.
Right now, the universe is calling, calling, calling.
The universe is calling me to be.
Calling to me.
The universe is calling, calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be.
Calling me.
The universe is calling me to sing unto the heavens. The universe is calling me to sing. The universe is calling me to sing like I have never sung. The universe is calling me to sing.
Right now,
The universe is calling, calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be. The universe is calling,
calling,
calling. The universe is calling me to be. The universe is calling, calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be. The universe is calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be. The universe is calling, calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be. The universe is calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be. The universe is calling, calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be. The universe is calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be. Calling me, calling me, calling me, calling me. You and me, you and me, you and me, you and me. It's calling me.
Right now.
Woo!
Well, we are blessed. Thank you. I was going to try and make up a name for a trio, but thank you, Deb. Thank you, John. Thank you, Phil. That was great. Gerry, blessed by your talk. I have to add a little piece because you asked a question and said, when was that last time where you were at a low point and that you felt the community or the love of somebody else or the prayers? And this last week when I had surgery and I caught a little infection from it, and I could feel that darkness that I had last year from surgery starting to creep in. And I just sat with it, and I felt the energy of all the prayers of everybody in this community, in this room, and those not in this room, and those not even in this town. And I felt that energy, that darkness, bump up against it. That divine love that was just being poured at me and felt like, and it's funny because it's a depression, but it said, okay, I got nowhere to land today. I'll go away for a while, and but I'll be back if you don't pay attention. So thank you, Gerry. So as our usher comes forward, it's time for our offering, and as a community, we practice the divine law of giving and receiving. We activate that law through our gifts. We give where we are spiritually fed, and we give from that abundance. We give from that abundance of who we are. We never give from our lack. We give from our abundance of who we truly are. And so from that place, we will say our offertory blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Amen. Let's take a moment and just surround these gifts and these offerings with light and with love, and knowing that as we receive, so we shall give, and that this allows us to fulfill our mission, which is to transform our world through love. And we will say our prosperity affirmation together. Together, we are stewards of divine abundance. We give and receive with gratitude. Couple of announcements today after the service. We have our energy healing. Sign up for an individual chair healing. And starts right after the service is over at the chapel. Then at 1 p.m. we have our community movie. Today the movie is The Post. Upcoming next Sunday, if you ever had somebody ask you, what about unity? What is unity? And you kind of stumble through your answer, you're not exactly sure what to say. That's actually kind of universal. We all kind of do that because we don't have a quick and easy answer. So come, and we're going to do about an hour and a half workshop and discover for yourself the language that works for you of how to describe what it is we are, so that when somebody says, I see that light in you that Gerry talked about, I see something different in you, what is it? And you can describe it so that we can be that inviting presence. Also, just mark your calendars. We have our candlelight service on December 24th at 5 p.m. We will be doing our annual Burning Bowl on Sunday, December 30th, and then our Whitestone ceremony on January 6th. So mark your calendars for those. Those are very powerful ceremonies. And I don't do this side very often. Oh, everybody please stand. We'll do our prayer for protection, followed by our peace song. Together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is.
Namaste, y'all.